This seemingly uninteresting patch of land, surrounding villages, is one of the most important places on Earth, but almost no one has ever heard of it. Kept completely secret, erased from any maps for decades, this area we're heading straight into right now is where the Soviets, during the arms race with America, invented, tested, and detonated 456 of their nuclear and hydrogen bombs. The unaware locals of the region having later to bear its consequences forever. Equivalent to the Los Alamos of the United States, what the Soviet Oppenheimer would create here would change the course of history as we know it today. And there is evidence left behind of the work that was done. Abandoned bunkers, a radioactive lake, but most importantly, first-hand stories from the people who lived through it, who have never spoken to anyone on camera before until now. We'll be heading to this desolate wasteland called the Semipalatinsk test site, located in the northeast of Kazakhstan.
The most nuked place on the planet.
With the scientist and expert Yerlan, the only person allowed to legally take people to this site. I don't think that any of us going into this trip, however, had fully grasped the importance of where we were headed to.
Thomas, nice to meet you. How are you?
Best smiles ever.
It's a video.
Yeah, their energy is amazing. Their smiles are beautiful.
You give good hugs. Just like how Chernobyl started. Everyone was very jolly until we got there. You are a scientist?
I am coincidentally both tour guide and also I have education in this field. I studied in the institute that was related to Soviet atomic industry, but the institute itself was established as a part of Soviet atomic project.
He's so sick.
To start our expedition, and before our more intense exploration of the radioactive lake, we set course to what was likely the most secretive town in the USSR, the Los Alamos of the Soviet Union. Strangely enough, even though Los Alamos was completely dismantled, most of this town still remains.
What's the name of this town that we're in right now?
The city is named after prominent Soviet scientist Igor Kurchatov, who was
Oh my God, bro, what is that? Oppenheimer could never, dog. Are you for fucking real right now? Dude, my goat, as one of your few centrist chatters, please do not fall for Soviet lies. What? As probably your only independent chatter, I think you need to react to Les Guevara lol. The USSR had Nazi scientists in his nuclear program. As one of your few centrist chatters, please do not fall for Soviet lies. Bro, I don't care what you say right now, okay? Let me tell you, that beard ain't telling a lie. When I tell you this man had a better beard than Oppenheimer, okay? It's just the truth. Also, I love that he said the USSR had Nazi scientists in his nuclear program. Yeah, I know. You know who else had Nazi scientists in their nuclear program? Or NASA in general. Oh man. Wait till you find out what America did.
technical leader of whole Soviet atomic project.
Oh, it got better? Hey, yo, dude, that's crazy.
How would he compare to Oppenheimer on?
He was a counterpart or peer to Robert Oppenheimer. Before the war, he had quite different interests. He was engaged mainly in electricity research, in physics. He always dreamed about getting electricity and all kinds of energy, releasing other kinds of energy. His great, big, true passion was to using nuclear energy peacefully. He was engaged in nuclear research only due to the war, global politics. This settlement was established in 1947. It was never shown in maps.
Just saying that because you said America did as well. I know, dude.
It was not possible to
yeah,
buy
I've said USSR has done that too.
Being recruited to Soviet army. first were transported by airplane to Moscow and landed there, and then transported back here. And many of them truly served that they are somewhere near Moscow.
Wow.
And then,
This was top secret.
yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy because both of you're right, Chatter. Both of the guys working on the nuclear program were communists.
So we're gonna step into an abandoned KGB building in one of the most secretive cities of the Cold War.
The KGB was at the epicenter of the Soviet Union, serving both for domestic security and foreign intelligence. As a highly secretive organization, they were notorious for their surveillance tactics used for censorship and repression of political opposition, amongst many other purposes. They were in charge of the secrecy of this nuclear project, and this was their headquarters.
All of these abandoned Soviet buildings were looted. Everything was stripped for metals, parts, whatever was left behind when the Soviet army left. And people took advantage of that. So this is what's left. The whole floor is falling apart.
You'd say that this city was comparable to Los Alamos?
I mean, this town, yes, but secrecy was much stricter here, much.
Damn, their town was way sicker than Los Alamos, bro. What the fuck? They're pooping on us. Their town was way doper, bro. Look at this. There's a whole ass town.
Stronger, yeah, and also much more effective.
It's strange to think about how powerful the Soviet Union once was, and to now be standing in its literal ruins. Especially the KGB building was like the most powerful, secretive wing of it. We are driving into the place that was dedicated to where the Soviet soldiers lived at the time. This whole place was deserted.
As you can imagine, in an area with such a strategic importance, there was a lot of military infrastructure surrounding it.
They said like, oh, this town's abandoned, but this is like a mini city. This is massive, way bigger than I expected.
Because town of Chagan, in its best time population was 11,000 people, and after USSR collapsed in 1994, we withdrew.
So it was a secret city as well.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Besides the nuclear project, this area was also hiding a highly strategic and crucial long-range bomber base, as well as a city that housed all of its soldiers and families, now reminiscent of Chernobyl.
What the f***?
I'm confused. What's cool about this? The visuals are fucking sick.
Wow,
What are you
they're
talking
so-
about? You don't. It's how is that not cool? Don't you like looking at like former fucking bustling towns and you look at it from an aerial fucking map and envision what it used to look like? What do you mean? It's sick.
Anything and everything. I mean, the floors, just because they're the most enforced with steel.
I can't be
That's
the
why
only
they
one who
take the
feels
floor.
this way, right?
Literally, everything is gone.
It is really strange to be like, we've been to a lot of abandoned buildings, but they're usually just left, you know, they're not looted for the steel and the concrete. It almost resembles this complete imbalance of using resources and time and material to put in something that eventually meant nothing.
Yeah.
And ultimately people wanted to feed their kids and do better economically, especially at a time where communism fell as the Soviet Union fell. Everybody must have been in
I don't know, man. Looks like a normal Democrat-run city to me. Well, as you know, communism is the ultimate form of Democratic Party antics. So it's just like this is the most Democratic-run city in some ways.
and just like the state of like wanting to just collect any resources that can help elevate them and their families out of the state that they were in.
Although the soldiers of this unmarked town left, some of the locals who lived here and others who worked directly at the nuclear test site at the time still remain. Given the secrecy they lived in for so long, many refused to talk to us. However, after weeks of preliminary work from Euroland, we found 4
Bro, I wonder what happened. after the dissolution of the USSR that like caused people to basically go back to all of the previously standing structures and remove steel beams and shit. That must have been that's the greatest indictment for socialism I've seen thus far, you know.
4 people who agreed to share their stories, including one woman who is the last to live in this abandoned military town, and most who have never shared their stories ever before. As we make our way towards the exact places 456 bombs were detonated, we'd first hear 4 people's shocking stories who saw them in the sky.
Мы работали проходчиками. В городе Гелен есть. Пробивали штольни, готовили процессу.
What year did you move here?
А в каком году сюда ехали?
В 76-м году.
1976. Когда он видел испытания, это был Советский Союз. Когда он работал, это уже был современный Казахстан. А Национальный ядерный центр занимается как раз ликвидацией инфраструктуры и всех последствий испытаний ядерного оружия на территории Семипалатинского полигона.
Мы же откуда знали, что это так страшно? Теперь-то все пишут и рассказывают, и показывают. А тогда-то что мы знали? Ничего не знали. Только что в школе вот учитель преподавал.
Где большая доза радиации до 30 минут там. А если там она не превышает нормы, больше работали. А так превышение дозы радиации было, если оно повлияло на мое здоровье, ну, слава богу, мне 73 года уже будет. Я чувствую себя неплохо.
You look younger.
Моложе,
And was he aware of the world politics that drove all this activity?
Поэтому мы тогда и подписывали о неразглашении, и вообще об этом мы никогда ничего не говорили. Кто что-то проговорился, тот, я же говорю, мы больше его не видели.
Он просто не возвращался, да?
Да. В 91-м закрыли же полигон. Казахстан.
Bro, I don't know, but this dude was literally fucking duking it out in radioactive materials, and his hairline is out of control at the 70 plus 80 plus year old age that he's at, and the drip is immaculate. I'm not mad. Okay, maybe there is something to this fucking nuclear stuff. It's kind of crazy. Dude's hairline is better than mine at the age of 90. Okay.
Объявил мораторий. И все распалось, все разъехались. И пошел распад Союза.
А что было? Ничего. Уезжали и все. Кто куда перевелся и все, военные. Ну, уезжали люди, а их же не остановишь, потому что жить надо было дальше, работать. Дети, семьи, надо же было как-то работать. Поэтому уезжали. Военные все в это... А у нас не было никого военных, мы никуда и не уехали.
И 96 по 99 мы работали с американцами. Закрывали штольни.
So he basically disconnected the last warhead that was...
То есть вы участвовали, получается, вот в разминировании вот этой вот не разорвавшейся бомбы, да?
Да.
Элементов может быть.
Нет, так же атомная бомба, она должна была по этим идти по, ну, взрывать. Наша та же работа, просто мы не успели запечатать, но не успели ее.
So there was just a bomb here after the Soviet Union broke down.
Yes, it stayed there for 4 years more.
I don't think I've ever been a part of telling a story of such amplitude that has never really been told before. Like Chernobyl, people had told that story before, but here people are speaking to us for the very first time.
Yeah.
Alright, but we're staying tonight.
Where has it taken us?
Welcome in USSR. First Soviet building, still interior is preserved as Soviet interior.
Is it more people staying here?
Nobody except it is not
That's
commercial at all. It is corporate hotel.
What?
That's sick.
Please get your passports. Passports will be returned in the morning.
Okay.
Okay. Time to check in our rooms.
That's so sick.
Why am I scared?
Oh wow, I have 2 beds in here.
Then I guess we're sleeping in here because I don't dare to sleep alone.
The fuck do you think's gonna happen, dude? You think fucking KGB, suka blyat? What do you mean?
Hello, my friends. Being able to make videos and short documentaries like the one that you're currently watching is
Ethical
literally
Reacts.
everything that I want out of life right now. So I feel very grateful that you are here watching and hopefully enjoying and learning lots. But they also would not be possible without sponsors. And in today's video, that is BetterHelp. I've had periods where I've been successful and I've been periods where I've been very unsuccessful at setting goals. And what I found actually very useful has been using the help of a therapist to set
I guess it is
those
creepy
goals.
that the
And I
entire
found
building
that
is
to be
empty. You know what I
huge help
mean?
when
I
it comes
wouldn't.
to being consistent and actually being able to stick to what I'm telling myself. that I
Unethical
want to do.
reacts, yes,
BetterHelp
yes.
makes starting therapy easier and a lot less intimidating for a lot of people. Because essentially you can choose to have the therapy in whatever form you're most comfortable with, whether a phone call, video chat, or messaging. BetterHelp will give you access to one of their 30,000 therapists based on your needs, preferences, and location, which will give you access to a wider range of expertise than may be available in your city. You can start by clicking the link down below and then filling out a questionnaire about the current challenges that you are going through, and BetterHelp will then match you to a therapist based on your needs. If you feel like the therapist you're matched with isn't the one for you, you can switch with a click of a button at no additional cost. So if you want to support our channel and join the over 4 million people who have used BetterHelp, click the link in the description below or go to betterhelp.com/yestheory to get 10% off your first month. And now on to the rest of our story. It was now time to drive into the frozen desert to explore the Semipalatinsk nuclear test site. On this vast plain of dust was where more nuclear tests were conducted than any other place on Earth.
The most nuked place on the planet.
Criteria were quite strict to choose the land. First criteria was as low as possible density of population. Here it is less than 1 person per 1,000 square kilometers. In 1953, first hydrogen bomb in the world was blasted between 4 and 500 kilotons.
Megaton! Tsar bomba!
6 months earlier, USA already tested hydrogen technology, but it was not a real bomb, it was just a hydrogen device. All accumulated arsenals of USA and USSR were able to kill everything, all life in the Earth more than 600 times and literally crack the planet into pieces.
That we could do what?
Destroy all life in the planet more than 600 times and crack the planet literally.
Crack the planet. Oh my god.
Times to destroy the Earth, yeah. That makes me so sad, yeah. Yeah, I can feel it in the whole group.
What point do you stop? At what point do you go, we have enough, you know? Like, I mean, is there any justification for having any ability to destroy the Earth once, you know? He said we have enough to crack the Earth in half. That's how many bombs we have. And that's in the power, that's in the hands of people that seem more and more erratic. Sometimes I'm not sure if the people who hold the launch buttons for those like fully comprehend their own.
Why do they sound like your impression of Russians? Because my impression of my Russian accent is goated. That's why.
Their own consequence, right?
Well, if someone decides to press a button, human civilization is pretty much over.
To the command center where they detonated the bomb, so it's a bunker that is about 12 kilometers out.
Wow. They used some thick steel here. It's so well enforced.
So it was designed to bear direct atomic bombing. You see the walls are about 2 meters thick and as well as the ceiling.
So even the locals around here didn't know that this was happening here. Nobody knew.
No.
Whoa.
Объясни товарищам, что в то время, как сейчас, не было такой гласности. И никто не знал про этот полигон, и когда взрывали, и что это было, и что это трясло. Это все засекречено было строго-строго.
What the fuck? So they're just like blowing up nuclear bombs right around the area, and they're just like sitting there like, oh shit's shaking again.
It's to an underground laboratory, 86 meters down.
You see the hole, it is a
Locals, the area had the population density of 1 person per 1,000 kilometer.
door entrance and the cabin of the elevator. A guy descended there by rope. He says the equipment is still there, just flooded by groundwaters.
Жители вывозили за деревню, там был овраг такой, как вырытый овраг, и туда мы ложились, да, укрывали одеялами нас, детей всех, да, потому что они там лежали, все село.
Yurlan, is this where they detonated the bomb from?
Yes.
Объявит нам, чтобы мы выходили из дома, вдруг он завалится, окошко можете, вот печка вот от двери откроет, зола высыпется. Ну, в общем, вот так. Дрожало все. Люстры вот так качаются.
But you had to lay down because
of shock wave can smash you.
А у нас тоже там было, знаешь, так прямо идут, прямо с ног сшибаются. Там солдат некоторые называют, бегут, да, например, укрыты, чтобы смотреть, да. Один раз помню даже, солдат прямо как это, с металла.
What are you feeling right now?
It's just so sad that we've spent all these resources and human power into just such bull.
Yeah.
And we still do it.
They look Asian. No way, dude. That's crazy. I wonder why they look Asian.
Test site is the only place in the world where you can walk literally on nuclear test site. In all other places you would visit only museum, and even in those museums you will be required to leave your cameras.
So strange for these guys. So strange for these guys that look Asian. It's funny because we were literally just talking about how massive the Asian continent is and how insanely diverse the race of Asian actually is. And like all it technically encompasses.
And smartphones.
It was time to head to the epicenter of it. We're on our way to one of the only accessible yet still
Chatter hit the what kind of Chinese are these guys? What's going on? Them Chinese speaking Russian, it seems like. What the hell?
radioactive testing sites in Kazakhstan, Lake Shagan, which we will need protective gear for. On January 15, 1965, the Soviet Union tested.
It's pretty funny because they're Turks. So, there you go. They're the Turkish Chinese. I don't mean Xinjiang. I mean Turkish Chinese.
Hydrogen bomb 11 times the strength of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima by the United States military in 1945. The 140 kiloton device was buried nearly 180 meters in the ground, and upon detonation, the blast created a crater of 454 meters wide and 100 meters deep, throwing soil nearly 1.5 kilometers up in the air. The blast was so large that it took the dust nearly 50 days to settle, forming the current hills that now surround the crater. Shortly after the test, a nearby river was diverted to fill the crater and turn it into what locals now call...
Okay, all jokes aside, they are Turkic, not Turkish. I was kidding, but like a lot of the Stan nations are Turkic.
the atomic lake.
Different.
Do not pick anything from the ground. When walking, try to raise as little dust as possible.
I didn't realize we were putting on heavy duty stuff. Yeah, to avoid
Listen, that's why I said Stan nations, not a lot of the Stan nations, not all of them.
Back in the car, we're gonna have to.
I was like, oh, what about Afghanistan and Pakistan?
The most heavily contaminated areas of the test sites are completely fenced off from the public. This lake, however, has levels safe enough to approach with protective gear on. We must be careful about our time spent here and making sure we don't inhale or kick up any of the dust below the snow.
И все это взрывалось. Ну, естественно, онкология. Люди болеют раком. Рак. Облучение было. Ну, как, заболел.
Намного этого было?
Конечно, хватало. Вон там книжки с госпиталя, там только это, облучение, малокровие, там только вот они были. Мы просто маленькие не вникали в это.
Некоторые даже взрослые не знали, что самое вредное это гриб, а не то, что там земля сотрясается, стекла бьются, а гриб после этого ветром разносило и радиацию по всей местности. Мы это даже не знали.
It's so crazy that we are in where the nuclear explosion happened.
All of this is unnatural.
All this dust that you're seeing, all these hills, it's just the displaced soil that was inside the crater.
Why are they wearing masks, brother? Typical communist Chinese, brother. Always trying to get motherfuckers to wear masks. Handsome Americans like this feller should not be wearing a mask here, okay? I don't want no goddamn face diaper. I'll tank that fucking radiation. It's fake. Nukes are fake. Radiation is fake, and so is the Chinese Communist Party's mask wearing activities.
Сначала идет вспышка, прямо такая вспышка, конечно, невозможно. А потом уже гриб выходит вот этот, который. Ну, я же говорил, ощущение, мы же хоть дети были, да, но какой-то в душе, как не испуг, а какой-то было такой момент, что именно что-то плохое делается, знаете, потому что это ощущение такое было внутри.
This is so sick. The Yes Theory guys are crazy. Jesus Christ, dude. Damn, they made an earth pussy, if you will.
Ну, вот так, от земли вот так, как будто ножка, а потом вот такая большая шляпа, ну, из...
I read that in the chat. I didn't come with that.
А потом он рассеется по земле, и все, и нету ничего.
Постарше был бояр, Ахрзаман Кагельды, потому что там все становилось темно, все в пыли. Там, понимаешь, ощущение такое было страшное, конечно, сказать.
Bro's about to pull a Barry Keegan and fuck that crater right in the Eartha Sea.
Because of dust, it was so black that it looked like in the night.
Okay, that one I said myself. That wasn't from the chat. I will take responsibility for that statement. I apologize.
It's crazy the scale of it when you're in it. How did one explosion make all of this? And why?
And why, yeah, exactly. Why? That's a great question. Why? Have you ever heard anyone being affected by the nuclear test?
Ну, нам всем теперь вот говорят так, что вот эти болезни все у нас бытат испытания.
Ну, выбросы, конечно, были ядерные, потому что 89-й год, я как раз беременная ходила с сыном. Теперь сына катаракта врожденная, он минус 16 диоптрии. Это радиация, это полностью облучение, там идет, даже медицинская у меня энциклопедия есть, там облучение есть. Были вертолеты, летали, замеряли, что они замеряли сначала. А теперь мы все понимаем, что это выброс радиации был, что вот кому-то инвалидами порождались, и не дай бог, конечно.
Родители нас-то укрывали, а сами нет. У меня мама в 49 лет умерла от онкологии. У него отец и мать тоже умерли от онкологии.
Any colleagues in work who did similar work to him that have had health complications that affected them in a negative way?
Были много. Я же говорю, это страдал народ в основном.
Many ordinary people suffered.
On the very spot we are walking, blew a bomb that could have incinerated an entire city. As we walk on the ashes of the very definition of destruction, one cannot help but feel existential about how our fear of those we consider our enemy drove some of humanity's greatest minds to bring such carnage into existence. Having all been up close to such destruction, we wanted to know how they all felt about the current state of the world.
As someone who's participated in kind of dismantling the system after Soviet Union collapse, what do you feel seeing the world kind of descend into another Cold War? And
Yo, that shit looks fire. Unrelated to the main subject, but goddamn, that looks dank as hell.
the threat of nuclear war rising again and being at an all-time high since then.
Ну, это, конечно, к этому я отношусь очень плохо, конечно, что да, но достижению, каждое государство свое именно, ну, мне хотелось, чтобы было мирное небо
Борсаки?
над головой, да, чтобы никаких конфликтов ни с кем не было, и мы, казахстанцы, именно вот хотим, чтобы, понимаете, всегда было мирное население, и вот чтобы вот это ядерное, это взрывы, призываю тоже всех, у кого ядерная держава, да, ну, сокращать или как-то, вообще, Казахстан, мы, как всегда, за безъядерное вооружение.
You have a great grandson
This guy is not participating in the Hasanabi doctrine, it seems.
here and your grandson. What is your message to all the young people in the world?
Ну, что же хотелось сказать, чтобы во всем мире, чтобы люди жили в согласии, в мире, и чтобы будущее наше поколение выросло здоровым, крепким, понимаете, и занимались спортом больше, понимаете. Любой вид спорта.
He runs every day and he goes to a swimming pool still to this day.
Советского Союза уже не существует. Сейчас, в данный момент, люди до сих пор путают, они не различают разницу между Советским Союзом и современным Казахстаном. Потому что то, что делает сейчас Казахстан, это очень важно для всего мира, потому что это пример, во-первых, для всего мира, чтобы отказаться от этого. И моя позиция такова, чтобы люди правильно это все понимали и понимали, насколько это плохо, потому что среди нынешней молодежи есть и послы, и министры будущие, и поэтому у них должно быть четкое формирование вот этой мысли. Вот и все.
Война это страшно, ребята, это очень страшно. Сейчас вот Украина воюет с Россией, я не знаю там, это страшно, ребята гибнут, молодые. Я как мать, у меня сын тоже 34 года. Вот племянник ушел на войну, вот уехал.
Shadow's about to cancel this lady for saying Ukraine is at war with Russia. Chad's about to hunt, Reddit is about to hunt down this woman and be like, excuse me, ma'am. You now have to evacuate your home.
На полгода опять на войну. В России живет сестра. И вот на полгода на войну. Это жутко. Это ужас. Я вообще против войны. Я не знаю. Я не могу понять людей, которые хотят войны.
Зачем вы, как сказать, ссоритесь страны между собой? Вы дружите, ездите друг к другу, торгуйте. У кого что-то нету, тому то дайте. У вас этого нету, то возьмите. Не надо воевать, не надо. Мир надо, мир. И помогать друг другу надо. И ездить и в гости, и встречать друг друга, и провожать. Как вот по-соседски жить. Понятно, что мир надо, мир.
Безъядерное. Вообще все перешли в Казахстан.
Kazakhstan abandoned all of its nuclear weapons. Also, it had fourth biggest nuclear arsenal in the world.
Wow.
I wish all countries behave the same way.
L take, bro. I'm joking.
It's his, no?
Obviously, he's right.
What?
Present.
Wow. Thank you.
Wow.
No way.
Just
He gave them his nuclear disarmament medal? That's insane, bro. Don't take that. Yo.
Нет, пожалуйста, берите.
Wow.
Thank you.
We will.
От всей души.
Yeah, you can tell him that we will protect it and spread peace as far as possible with his messages.
Yeah.
Да, вот. Всего хорошего. Все, до свидания.
Wow. That was amazing.
Всё.
Wait, why does he have that? What do you mean? He participated in the disarmament of the last nuke that Kazakhstan had. He should have at least given him his YouTube play button in return. Yeah, dude, that's crazy. That's so sick. He gave it away so he can start rearming? Okay, thank God. That makes sense. It's radioactive. It will slowly kill all Americans for Mother Russia. I love this channel. Yes Theory is so good.